So yes, tackling TikTok for business and how you can use TikTok to grow your brand. I mean, it's a massive beast. I've tried to cover as much as I possibly can in the 20 minutes that I've got. So if you've got any questions at the end, I'm happy to answer them. But I just thought I'd go in for more of a business, grow your brand sort of thing rather than a fun topic. So here we go. I've just explained all that what I do. So what comes to mind when you think of TikTok? Please feel free to shout anything out.
I was wasted.
What was that? Sorry.
I was wasted.
Yeah. I was wasted.
I do kind of subconsciously at least think of it as like, for kids, but I do know that's not true. Like, but that's still sort of in me.
That's the stereotype that you think.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
So novelty videos, like almost comedic videos.
Yeah, funny, fun.
People dancing.
Yeah, dancing.
And rapping to songs irritatingly.
Yeah.
Lots of
I feel like the vibe around TikTok is not very positive in this room.
No, you got a tough. Sorry about this. You got a tough crowd here, Poppy.
Yeah, I've got a tough crowd.
A lot of informative content that I see. Like I say, it depends on the algorithms, I suppose, of what you watch.
But yeah, that is sort of the sort of things that come to mind. Like everyone's got this sort of perception of it that it's sort of like kids dancing, silly filters, like very strange challenges that people do. I don't know what's going on in this picture of this man with all the stuff up his nose, but yes, that's sort of what comes to mind when you think of TikTok. It's not your fault, I suppose. It's just got a bit of a stereotype. But obviously, I want to come and change your mind and show you how it can be an amazing tool for business. And rather than me just sit and tell you about it, I thought I'd show you some great case studies of different types of businesses that have used it to help grow their brand and make sales. So the first one is Made by Mitchell. It's a makeup brand that was founded in 2020. They took a TikTok first marketing strategy, and I would also argue that they took a TikTok first business strategy because they've made so many sales on there. They've built a really amazing community that's based on their brand values, which is authenticity, inclusivity, and functionality. So it's makeup products like makeup brushes, like amazing like palettes so that you can like contour and all of that sort of stuff. They've made really amazing use of the tools that are on there, such as TikTok Live and TikTok Shop. And in June this year, they held a 12-hour live session where they made 1 million in sales from TikTok Shop in 24 hours, and they're the first UK brand to do this. Wow. And during that 12-hour live, they sold a product every single second. So obviously this is them at the end of their sort of like building their brand journey, and they're at this position where they can use those tools to really like push their product forward. But what they've done is they've gone and made all of this amazing content and engaged their community by giving them products and sort of seeking out the people that are already on the app to sort of give them the products to show other people. So it's like it's not just him just there creating all of this content. He's enlisted the help of other people to do so and spreading more awareness of his brand and his products and how great it is. Another sort of, so that was sort of like a medium-sized business. This is sort of like a very small indie business, sort of solo entrepreneur. She's a fourth generation goldsmith. She's called Susanna King, and she showed her first collection at London Fashion Week in 2019, and that sort of sparked her desire to sort of develop her skills and show off her like skill set and sort of build a small business around what she can do with jewelry. And she uses TikTok to share her journey, like her designer journey and her artistic journey, and also her small business journey. And what she does is she basically just shows the process. She answers questions. She shows herself as an expert. She does, and through doing this, she's built a community and a following. And then what she does is she gets a load of products and makes them and shows herself making them. And she uses those videos to advertise that these products are going to drop on a certain date. And her drops sort of sell out in like minutes. Like some of them have sold out in minutes because she's built up that hype, but she's worked out who her audience is and what people want to see on that app and sort of made the content to fit into there, which has helped promote her business. And she's currently in the process of opening her first shop in London on her own. So that's an amazing sort of success story from sort of graduating the process of the whatever you do to be a goldsmith to then open your own shop. And from small brands to really, really big brands, I thought I'd use Crocs as a really great example. So obviously they've got a lot more budget and a lot more resources to sort of be showing up on TikTok, and they post a lot more stuff. But basically they went through a bit of a process. They went from the most hated shoe to the most stylish and must-have. And this was obviously helped by a lot of external factors, such as Balenciaga. They did a collaboration with Balenciaga and sort of put it on the catwalk. And then since then, they've used like different digital marketing efforts to sort of change the perception of them and like build brand affinity. So, and Crocs actually went viral on TikTok before even joining it. So they've obviously gone out and seen that people are posting on TikTok. Like, I think people were doing silly challenges where they were putting like shaving foam in the Crocs and then putting their feet in them. And they've obviously seen that there's like a market for them to then exploit, but not exploit, that's some negative word, but like take advantage of. And they launched in TikTok in 2019 with a challenge of their own, and their followers grew massively from then. And they continue to grow using TikTok. They have really great ad campaigns. And they use it to stay up to date with the trends and also see shifts in consumer behavior. That's another great way that you can use TikTok. It's a really good research tool. So whatever you're putting out, you're getting back, like you're getting feedback. If you search the hashtag of your product or your brand and people are talking about it, you can see what they're actually saying. It's sort of that live feedback. So that's just some examples of how other businesses have sort of used it, from big businesses like Crocs to small indies from Susanna King, and then sort of medium businesses that have taken TikTok as their main strategy for just growing their business. But how can you use it? There's lots of different features, there's lots of different ways. I'll try and cover all the different things, and sort of maybe you can take from that what you will. So I think the key thing is making sure that your content is right. So you can post videos and photos on TikTok. The photos come on like a bit of a carousel, and you can swipe across, and obviously videos just work as a video. You've got to make sure that you've got something worth saying and something worth sharing. Like Nikki said, people want to be educated and entertained. So if you can share your brand message or your product or your service in an entertaining and educational way, then you'll be winning. You also need to be really searchable. So use keywords in captions, and making sure you get on the right side of TikTok. As we've discussed, you can, if you watch one video, it'll show you similar videos to what you've already watched. So you need to make sure that your video is showing up in the right place and not getting in front of the wrong people who are not going to be interested, because that will affect your further reach. And on that as well, like use hooks. So you've only got like half a second to hook someone into a video, because there's so much on there. It's a fight. You have to make sure that you're hooking that person in, and they want to hear what you have to say, or they want to watch what you put out. So like hooks like this, sort of like 3 ways to style your button-up shirt wrong. That's sort of like giving me, oh, I'm interested in this, or I'm not. It's giving me that sort of like, I know clickbaity. I suppose it depends on the brand and how you want to go about things. Influencers and UGC creators are a really great way of diversifying your content. So it's not just you talking about your brand or your team talking about your brand. And the difference between an influencer and a UGC creator is an influencer is a collaboration, and you're after their followers. So like their followers are your target market, and you want to use them to get in front there. Whereas a UGC creator, you're not interested in their followers, you're just interested in their content. So you're interested in them, like say it was a drinks brand, you might send them some of your drink, and they might make a video sort of drinking it and enjoying it and telling people what's so good about it. But then that's your video to then post. Whereas if it's an influencer, you want them to post it to their following because that's what you're sort of paying for with the collaboration. But yeah, obviously that's just a great way. And you can also, once you've got a few different sort of like areas of content that you keep posting regularly, you can organize them into playlists so that when people go onto your profile, because what happens quite often is like someone sees a video that they find interesting, they'll go onto your profile and see if you've got any more on the subject or on the matter. So like playlists is a really good way of like getting people to watch something on that subject. A great example of like a service base, because I know I've talked about a lot about products. If you look at Citizens Advice, they're doing a lot of stuff on TikTok because it's a really great way of getting that information out there, and they're using sort of like TikTok trends and to share information, and it's things that people would want to know as well. So they're getting quite a lot of traction.
I've got a question, Poppy. Do you want me to?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, you can ask it now. Yeah.
So that one that post on the previous said like 3 ways to style your button-up shirt wrong.
Yeah.
This is probably kind of a Tony thing as well. So obviously that's a negative thing. Would you say to post both negative and positive? So like you've got a negative 3 ways to style up a button-up shirt wrong. This is how you do it right. Would you do 2 posts on that?
Well, I suppose you could, but I suppose she's sort of using this. It's like that's the way of like making it a little bit different rather than like 3 ways to style your shirt. It's like gives it a bit of an edge. Like it's just a small thing, but it's like it's giving it a bit, like it's taking it away, and it's like, oh well, I know that's going to be something a bit different rather than something that I've already seen before.
Yeah, I'm just like
yeah,
I think all the time, but that is probably what I'd click on most.
I think it's just about thinking about what is my audience and what they're gonna, and then what's gonna cut through the noise. Like if everyone's don't think of the obvious, like just think of it outside the box. I'm trying to think of another good example. Like people love like story time, like people love stories. They love like, so it's like, oh, I've got a story about this. Like you can do it in that sort of way, and like showing people stuff and sort of doing something while you're telling it, like even just walking down the street, and that's like a popular sort of way of executing it. I feel like they've all fallen out of my head. All of the options that I've thought have gone. The next one is you can take advantage of TikTok Shop, and this really works well for like high volume, low cost products like beauty, clothing, and gadgets, that sort of thing. You have to apply to be a seller, and you have to have at least 5,000 followers to do this. And you have to upload your products like you would do on your website. So it's sort of like a bit of a double work. But once you've got that following and built that community, it could be really like potentially really like financially viable for you to do that. So it's like you've got to make sure you've got the right tags in and the SEO of the headline and all of that sort of thing. And another thing about being on TikTok Shop is that TikTok users with over 1,000 followers can become shop creators, and these creators will get a commission for creating videos that sell your product. So this hairdryer, this woman has been paid a commission because so many people have bought it, but she's been showing people, and it's got like over 6,000 likes and so many shares. So it's like it's getting your products out there. They get a bit of commission, and you get the majority of the money. So that's how sort of TikTok Shop works. That's how sort of you monetize on TikTok. Another way of like monetizing and also building a community is TikTok Live. So you can connect this to your TikTok Shop and talk about products and things on there and show them and demonstrate and hold like competitions, and then link it to your TikTok Shop so people buy. And that's sort of like what Made by Mitchell did. They did like interactive 12-hour thing, and people were just buying stuff constantly throughout the live. It's a way of sort of helping you to build community as well. Like if you don't have a product, you can just sit and talk and do a Q&A. It's just a way of putting out longer content because you've only got up to 10 minutes on to post. You can only post videos on TikTok that are 10 minutes long, whereas on live you can stream for 60 minutes. So yeah, you can build a bit more brand trust with your audience, and get to know those like core consumers that are loyal to your brand and get them more on side. Another thing as well is that you can use Promote and TikTok ads. So if anyone's familiar with like Meta's form of advertising on Instagram, it's sort of similar to that, whereas like you could Promote as a tool to like boost your organic content. So you posted a video and you want it to get more likes, you want it to get more shares, you want it to get more comments, you can set the boost to do that. Whereas your TikTok ads is more of like a campaign and it's not actionable. So people like it'll drive you to sort of shop. And you can use this in sort of different ways. So you can afford to be a little bit more advertising in this sense because people are expecting it. So like this Prime Day deals, like that's very much an advert. And then it goes from like being a bit, you can go into being a bit more like UGC style, which is like this woman here is like showing me how to use this Garnier product, but it's an ad. And same for this, it's like it's built up, same for the beauty, the lip balms. It's nice content that sort of fits into the scrolling, but you can tell it's an ad. So but yeah, that's sort of the stuff that will get you to go to the shop, it'll get you to go to your website, whereas Promote is more of just like boosting that content and the views and likes. Thank you. Have I been quick?